Hey everyone, Sisir here, profit and cash flow coach for female entrepreneurs who wants to make more income from business without having to spend more time working in business. Today we're going to talk about three cash flow mistakes that you really want to avoid if you want to survive and then thrive in your business. Before we do that, and I'm going to ask you a question. Do you know the length of the London Marathon distance is? And it's 26.2 miles. You might be wondering, like, what's it got to do with the topic that you're going to talk about, say about the capital mistakes that as a business owner is going to make. But here's the thing: business is a marathon; it's not a sprint. So you have to keep going in the business to long enough to make an impact for the causes that you care about, to your family, to for better things in what you do and what you believe in, and also innovate as a person and also make an income of business. So it is indeed a marathon. It's not a sprint. And what you need for that, all of that, you need cash. That's what you need to get going in business. So how do you have enough cash so that you can survive and thrive? So I'm going to cover three capital mistakes you really want to avoid in your business. And at the end of the session, that I'm open to Q&As. That and this is the format of what we do. If you think that someone else would also benefit from being in the show right now, that you can ping, or you can send in this link, and you can you can invite them to join the conversation we are having here right now. So let's talk about the three cash flow mistakes that you really want to avoid. The first thing that I would like to talk about is this mindset of like the future cash inflow will cover the future cash outflow. Here's the problem with that, because we're never seeing tomorrow, so we don't know what it looks like, that what the business will be in situation, what will be in, what the revenue line, the profit line, what the process line, what the ideal clients would be want to be buying from you and when, and because we don't know, so you want to have certain cash flow cushion to so that you're protected in near future. And one of my clients, that he was doing really well, so he started doing like 85,000, and by the time in a year and a half he's doing 185,000, and he was growing, and he kind of thought like my future cash inflow would cover my future class outflow. Guess what happened? The business didn't perform as he expected that it would. And by the time he had hired more people to work for him, and he was spending more on having personal things, and he didn't have enough money to pay for the taxes. So you don't really want to be in that situation. I've seen like people really in bad state as a result of that. So you want to have a cash flow cushion, a cash flow runaway for at least 2 3 months. Think about what the big brands, like even big brands, that why did they go bust? Because they are relying on the immediate, like today's cash flow money, and to cover for the today's gas outflow, and 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 also for yesterday's gas outflow. They were pending it, and that's what they were relying on to do that. And result of that, when it doesn't happen, when the pandemic strikes or anything strikes, and this economic downturn, and then they don't have enough cash flow to survive, and because it doesn't make sales in the let's say in the next 3 months, and there's not much enough cash coming in the business, and that leads to possibly in the bankruptcy. So you definitely want to have a cash flow cushion for the next 2 to 3 months, and that's the mistake you really want to avoid. That's number one. The number two is you want to you want to know the difference between profit and cash flow in the business. And I know it sounds, as an entrepreneur, that we don't have to go deep and being a finance expert in what we do. That's not as entrepreneur. That we just think about the bigger picture of what's happening in the business, and especially from a helicopter view. And but we're not trained to be a finance expert, but you do need to know some of the key aspects of what happens in a business, the numbers in your business, because numbers do tell a story of what decision that you made in the business, what actions you've taken, and what results have you achieved as a result of that. So when you look at your profit and loss statement, and you look at your cash flow statement, and they look completely different. They look completely different, and you might say like, which one is right? Which one is give me a better picture that am I doing well or not? These kind of questions that will start to hit it in your mind. And you want to be careful about this one because you need to understand the difference between profit and cash flow. So when you start working on like in projects, and you see like, oh, the business is profitable, you can see lots of profits being made. But if you don't have cash to pay for the supplies, if you don't have to pay for cash for immediate things that you need to pay, then your business is in trouble. So you want to be really careful. You want to be keeping an eye on your profit as well as your cash flow. Think about if you want to have a very simple way of how you differentiate this thing is you go back to the marathon that you're running, it is that your cash flow is like your stamina. And that keeps your business going. If you don't have stamina, then you can't run for 26.2 miles. There is no way. There is no way. You might be the best sprinter in the world, but you can't. If you don't have a stamina, then you can't run for 26.2 miles. It's not 800 meters. It's not 1600 meters. It's not 1500 meters. It's not 1,000, 10,000 meters. It's 26.2 miles. You have to keep going. You need stamina to do that, as well as you need to have a skill to make the business profitable as well. And because the profit plus the having the right process in place to collect the payments, to condense the life cycle of when you collect the payments from your clients, that's increase your cash flow. So you need to have all these things in place. So you need to understand the difference between a profit and a cash flow. And number three is I want to touch on, yes, this kills more businesses than ever. And what I'm going to talk about here is not having extra pair of eyes to look into your business. Look, we are all human beings, so we all make mistakes. There's some like obvious things that we would know in a business that someone else can see is so obvious for us. It is not so obvious because we're doing running our business ourselves, and we're trying to get on with our business, and we don't see things that other people will see things. What you don't know and can't see are the two biggest killers of the business. And here's the takeaway for you. The name of the game is to stay in the game until you win the game. You might want to write this down. I'm going to repeat it for you. The name of the game is to stay in the game until you win the game. So how do you stay in the game is by having enough cash flow to get going on a monthly and quarterly basis. That keeps your business going. It's not about how you can go on for 26.2 miles on a day one. It's about how you can go on for the next 3 months. That could be the next 300 meters. If you think about all this about the next 300 meters, is you reach the 300 meters, then it's all about reaching the next 300 meters, the next 300 meters, the next 300 meters, and the next, and so on. By the time you realize you've reached a point, you finish the marathon of where you want to be. Maybe that is your 10 million pound business. Maybe it's you're already on 10 million business, you want to scale to 100 million, or maybe you're on 1 million, you want to go to 10 million, or maybe you're on 100,000, you want to go to 1 million, whatever you're in business journey, whatever stage and scale of the business journey. And this is the process. And someone being there to guide you as a co-pilot, as someone driving you on the front on the front of the vehicle, sitting next to you and saying, this is the path that we're going, this is where we are, this is where we need to go, we're doing okay, we're not doing okay, this is what you can't see, this is what you can't do. And if you have someone to guide you through the process, that will help you to make many castle mistakes that other people make. So that's the thing that I want to share with you today. And if you have questions, any question around this, and I'm more than happy to answer. And if you think that this session is valuable to you, that someone else would also benefit from being in the call, then do invite others, and as well your friends, your colleagues, and I'll be more than happy to answer their questions live on call. And this is the place that I answer any questions around profit and cash flow in the business. How do you improve them? How do you generate more profit, and how do you improve your cash flow, and how do you avoid the mistakes and the cash flow mistakes that 82% businesses make in the world, and as a result of that the business collapse. And it's a study done by score.org. You might want to check it out. And it's surprising me that the 82% businesses, they fail not because of lack of sales, it's because lack of a poor understanding or poor management of cash flows. So it's really crucial for you to get this right if you want to run, if you want to make a big income, if you want to make a big impact for the causes that you care about, so that you can be in the business long enough to do that. You need to have a handle, or you need to have a control, you need to have a grip on your cash flows. So you want to avoid it. So these three are like the crucial mistakes when it comes to surviving in the business, which will give you a foundation to running your business. Then it will give you a platform to thrive in your business. So that's all I've got to share with you today. And if you have any questions, then put them in the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Okay, great. So it looks like that we don't have any questions, and that's great. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today. And I had a great time connecting with you. And every Friday I go live at 4 o'clock in GMT UK time. And if you got any question in between now and next Friday, and do reach me out on social media, and I'm mostly on Instagram and YouTube and LinkedIn. You can reach me out, and whatever the question is that you want me to cover in depth like this, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. And you can tag you at the time that I'm doing it as well, so that it can benefit you, that I have answered your questions and you're moving forward in the business. Bye for now. Have a great week, and I'll see you on the next one.